Hello everyone, this is Lens Review. The Panasonic Lumix S24-105mm f4 Macro OIS was released in 2019 as one of the 3 launch lenses for Panasonic's full-frame L-mount system. It marks the beginning of Panasonic's epic conquest in full-frame segment of the camera market, and as you can see now, they're doing pretty well. The 24-105 f4 was a great all-round lens to jumpstart a new camera ecosystem. Today we are spoiled by the standard zoom lens options we have in L-mount, from the luxurious Leica 24-90mm f2.8-4 to multiple standard 24-70 f2.8 by various brands in L-mount alliance, to the more compact Sigma 28-70 f2.8, then the quirky and much adored Lumix 20-60 f3.5-5.6, then compact super zoom Lumix 28-200, and the heavy hitter 35-150 f2.2.8 by Samyang, then compact niche Lumix 18-40mm, and ambitious Sigma 28-105 f2.8, and now the latest and greatest Lumix compact 24-60 f2.8. There's no lack of variety, excitement, and novelty when you pick the L-mount system. So does the value of the good old classic 24-105 f4 still hold up in today's L-mount system? Let's find out. The lens barrel is primarily polycarbonate plastic, I believe, with the internal metal structure, functionally and aesthetically 100% in line with other S lenses, no matter zoom lens or their famous f1.8 prime lens lineup. So it is very high quality, but not too heavy. On top of that, this lens is dust, splash, and freeze resistant. According to Panasonic's marketing material, it can withstand a harsh environment of as low as -10 Celsius degree temperature. This lens has a filter size of 77mm, slightly on the larger side. Lens weighs 680 grams, which is reasonable for a 24-105 lens. You can definitely feel the weight, but it's not terribly weighty. In fact, I sold the Sigma 24-70mm f2.8 Mark I, which weighs over 800 grams, in order to get this lens to trim down some weight. My fingers would hurt after shooting with the Sigma 24-70 f2.8 for half a day. Plus, that lens has a lot of zoom barrel creeping due to the weight. This Lumix 24-105 f4 has perfectly balanced zoom ring smoothness. It's very easy to turn, but doesn't creep when you hand the camera around the neck, unless you are running or jumping. It does have a zoom lock that locks the barrel at 24mm, in case you are indeed very active on the feet. This Lumix 24-105 balances perfectly well on my Lumix S1R, a tank of a camera. It still balances really well on the compact Lumix S9 if I have a hand grip installed on the camera. Without a grip, this lens would be way too big and unbalanced for the S9. I don't have a Lumix S5 body type of camera in L-mount, but I do have the G9 Mark II, which shares the same body design, which balances very well with the Leica 10-25 f1.7 lens, which is similar in size and weight to the Lumix 24-105. So I assume this lens would balance perfectly well on your S5 Mark II, S1 Mark II. The lens hood is plastic construction and has a nice lock-in button. On the side of the lens, there's previously mentioned zoom lock switch, then you have AF/MF switch, then OIS on-off switch. No additional customizable function button like the Sony 24-105 f4G lens does, which I used to own. They're actually very similar lenses in spirit. The rubberized zoom and focus rings are nice and comfortable to use, but could attract dust, and in general, you have to be a little bit more careful with the rubber material than with the metal. Also, there's a red dot indicating the mounting position, which is a nice homage to Leica aesthetics. There's a long-established, intimate partnership between Panasonic and Leica. The premium Pro S line of Panasonic L-mount lenses are all Leica quality controlled, certified by Leica. However, these standard Lumix S lenses also excel in image quality, despite not explicitly stating that they have Leica quality control or design inputs. I mean, just look at the type font used on all Panasonic L-mount lenses. It's a proprietary typeface design derived from the signature Leica font, but in white color instead of orange. So yeah, these are Leica quality lenses, and anyone who used any of those Panasonic f1.8 prime lenses can attest to that. So let's talk about image quality. Starting at 24mm. It is already very sharp, even at wide open f4 aperture. It has no issue whatsoever throughout the entire standard range. Just excellent sharpness. Towards very end of the zoom range, about 105mm maybe, the edge can appear a little bit softer, but still center sharpness is very good. The fact is that when you shoot at 105mm, it's hard to keep everything in frame on the same plane, unless you are shooting against a flat wall perpendicularly. It's almost unavoidable to have some foreground, some background out of focus in the edges. So honestly, I'm not very critical about the lens edge sharpness at 105mm. It is more often used as a portrait or product focal length anyway, where you usually isolate the subject mostly in the center. That being said, I try to pixel peep my pictures shot beyond 85mm. I just don't see any issue regarding sharpness across the frame in practical usage. Maybe shooting against a brick wall, you could see some softness at the very edge, but in real life, I have zero complaints. This lens has very good chromatic aberration control as well. I've yet to notice any in my photos. f4 aperture is a very classic choice for this type of all-around zoom lens. Nothing extraordinary in terms of shallow depth of field, but as someone who primarily shot Micro Four Thirds, the depth of field on this lens would translate into a constant f2 zoom lens in Micro Four Thirds system equivalent, which is, well, at least for whoever is accustomed to Micro Four Thirds, a super impressive number. Anyways, f4 in full frame still creates some very decent subject separation, especially at the long end. The further you zoom, the more the subject pops out. My friend who took these pictures of me, who knows nothing about camera, literally said, the more I zoom in, the higher quality picture become. From 24mm to 50mm, this lens can create some moderate bokeh when you get close to the subject enough. It doesn't melt everything away, but it looks pleasing and shows you the context in broad strokes. For environmental portrait or street photography, it can produce some really nice images. Yet the real superpower of the lens lies in its minimum focusing distance and macro capability. This lens focuses as close as 0.3 meters / 0.98 feet, which is almost on par with my Micro Four Thirds lenses like the Leica 12-60 and 10-25. It offers a maximum magnification ratio of 0.5 times. You can really get super close to a subject and isolate it, melt the background completely out of focus, rendering beautiful bokeh, especially at 105mm f4. This offers you more opportunities to be creative with your shot, to find beauty in neglected detail in daily life. I think it's going to be highly appreciated by a lot of users. This lens features optical image stabilization. As always, it works in tandem with your in-body stabilization, which every single Panasonic full-frame camera has. It's very helpful if you shoot with L-mount cameras that don't have IBIS, like the Leica SL Mark I, CL, TL, and Sigma L-mount cameras. f4 is humble in low light, but the OIS helps. Plus, modern-day AI denoise tools are really good. I can actually confidently shoot up to 12,800 ISO on any of my L-mount cameras. If needed, I can just add denoise in post. So f4 is no longer a weakness in low light thanks to technological advancement, and new sensor technology like backside illuminated sensors are just a lot more forgiving when shooting high ISOs. Overall, it is an excellent lens that is built to last, built to be in your kit for many years to come, despite the fierce competition. For f2.8 purists, I think the Lumix 24-60 f2.8 is an incredible alternative at similar price. Granted that you don't shoot much beyond 60mm, which I actually don't. I can see myself getting the 24-60 f2.8 if I get to choose again. It's better suited for versatile street photography in a very compact form factor. Also, if you are a videographer, you can bypass the 60mm focal length limitation by using in-camera zoom, which doesn't come with image quality penalty in Panasonic cameras. If you prefer to have a jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife, one tool to rule it all lens that is not too heavy, this Lumix 24-105 f4 can still be your top pick. If you already own this lens, it probably makes sense to stick to this. And if you don't, you have so many options to explore. I'd envy you for the possibilities you can have in front of you, but also I don't envy you for the very hard decisions you would have to make to pick one out of so many interesting and unique zoom lenses in L-mount family. What do you think? Which zoom lens would you add to your kit? Thank you for watching. See ya.